Here we are then, welcome back everybody. We're getting ready to go for the second race of tonight for the GT5 Ginetta Cup here at the Brickyard Indianapolis Motor Speedway here on the road course tonight. What a race we had a few moments ago. We saw Richie taking the win ahead of one space, Mike Gaming on the podium. We saw a few thrills and spills, a couple of collisions here and there, and some disasters throughout the race, but nonetheless, we're here getting ready to go for what we hope is going to be a clean, fair and exciting race tonight. 18 laps of the Brickyard. It's going to be a manual formation laps to get us underway. The drivers will get into the reverse grid order of where they finished in the first race. And then once that's done, we'll be officially ready to go racing. Green, green, green. As we've got Archie in the comments, says good luck everyone. No red flag level crashes this time. Hopefully not, Archie. Hopefully we can all keep it clean and tidy and we don't have any particular dramas over the course of this race. There's a mandatory pit stop as well, so drivers can come in and get that done, which could give them a jump maybe. If drivers can get in early, get some clean air, then we might be seeing some split strategy here tonight. But here we go, the lights coming on. That will mean the drivers can pull off from their grid slots, and we're going to get into the correct grid order that we're supposed to be starting in. So it is going to be Smoky Devil leading us away, Ugbar in second, Rags is going to be third, SRT should be fourth, Diabetic Lamb P5, Connor will start sixth, Aussie Albie seventh, Michael be eighth, one space in ninth, and Richie should be starting this one in P10. And yeah, this should be an interesting race indeed. Smokey's really setting quite a blistering pace on this formation lap, I've got to say. He's not hanging around by the looks of it. He's going a bit quicker than the usual 50 miles an hour that we put in the guidelines, but no real official ruling. It's just supposed to be a bit of a guide, but he's not going breakneck pace. It's just a little bit faster than I think is comfortable out there, but nonetheless, Smoky Devil will get us underway. Oakbar right behind him in second place. We're looking to try and get on the podium this season after not the greatest of first halves to the season. But Oakbar is a man who we all know is very, very quick in every car that he races, and he's a very solid performer across the board on project cars too. So we're looking forward to seeing if he can maybe nab himself a podium, possibly in the top 5, if not a podium. But you got Rags there right behind, starting P3. Will definitely be in a good position to challenge for the win here, but so will SRT Bird as well, right behind him. It's Diabetic Lamb P5. The drivers who finished up the front in the first race will be right at the back. What can Aussie Albie do? Connor will be starting bang in the middle of the pack. Mike, one space. Richie, the top 3 from the first race, right at the back. Here we go though, we're lights out, or we're not lights out, but you know, green flag racing here. Smokey got away quite quickly and has already put daylight between himself and Oakbar as they're coming down the start finish straight for the first time at proper racing speed. 8 people currently watching. Smash the like button, guys, if you're enjoying the stream tonight. If you show your appreciation for the drivers out on the track, as we've got currently a very close battle going on between Mike and Aussie Albie, as Mike has got himself into P7 there, down the inside into turn 1. As we've got a late move there. Somebody's sending one there down the inside. As that is, I think that's SRT who was trying to make a move, but Ugbar holds on to P3. Mike Gaming there just behind, one space ahead of Diabetic Lamb. But we're all safely through turns 1 and 2, and it's Smoky Devil leading ahead of Rags, but Rags is hassling the back of him as they're coming up towards the S's for the first time. Rags is ahead of Ugbar now into P2 as we've got Mike Gaming and SRT side by side. Mike's going to try and hang it around the outside, but SRT has got that one done coming down the back straight. Mike Gaming's going to now tuck in and look to the inside here on SRT, as we can also see one space right behind them trying to go down the middle. Has nowhere to go. Aussie Albie now round the outside of one space up into P6. One space is getting swamped here, has been passed down the inside by Richie. Richie up into 7th place, round space down to 8th place. Smokey leading ahead of Rags at the moment, 0.2 of a second between those two. Oakbar's right on the back of these as well. Mike Gaming there in 4th place has got SRT on the back of him. You've got Aussie Albie, Richie, there's Diabetic Lamb ahead of one space, and Connor there going a little bit wide coming out onto the oval track for the first time, but keeping on the track for the time being. Smokey, though, has got Rags looking to his inside. Is Rags going to send one here into the chicane? He's going to think about it. He's going to go for it, and he's going to squeeze Smokey to the edge of the track. Rags and Smokey side by side into towards the penultimate corner. Has Rags got this one done around the outside? He has, and Rags is up into the lead here at Indy for this feature race. As now Oak Bar is looking on the back of Smokey. You got Mike there on the inside of SRT. Looks like he's got that move done. Is now looking on the inside of Oak Bar as well, as these guys are side by side. Down the start finish straight we come. Mike Gaming is going to try and make this 3 wide between Smokey, Oak Bar and Mike, but Smokey's got a better run down the start finish straight. I think he's going to pull away from these two as they're coming down towards turn 1. They might actually get a bit of a second wind down the start finish straight here. Here goes Mike. Is he going to send one here on Oak Bar? He does send one on Oak Bar. He's going to send one on Smokey as well. Oh, Mike's going to be really brave there on the brakes. Can he keep it on the outside? No, he gets tapped in the rear by Smokey, and Mike is off. He's off onto the gravel, and Mike's goes from bad to worse. He can't seem to catch a break here tonight. Indy, as we can see, SRT up into second place. Oak Bar there in third ahead of, Oak Bar's lost out to Richie. Now Richie's up into third. Oak Bar attacks Richie in the rear. Oh no! Oh, Richie is round and he's going to drop a few places there. Oak Bar, I think, just misjudged where Richie was. And Oak Bar's down to 8th. Richie's down to 10th. Rags leads ahead of SRT, followed by Smokey in 3rd place. But Oak Bar and Richie coming together. Diabetic Lamb running in 4th place ahead of Aussie Albie, followed by Connor. Connor gets a bit of stop oversteer. Connor straight on at the end of the back straight as he hit the brakes. So he's now lost a few places there, down to the back of the pack. Richie ahead of him up into 9th place. 1 space is still on the back of Mike, but Mike has been in the wars in this race and can't seem to find his way through this pack nice and smoothly, as he's now looking on the inside of his championship rival and gets the run on him. He's going to make this move. Sorry, not on his championship rival even. On Aussie Albie, sorry. Mike's made the move on Aussie Albie up into P5. 1 space. Mike's championship rival is right behind them though in 7th place, so he's got 1 driver between himself and his championship rival at the moment. That is Aussie Albie there in P6. Rags though leading the race by just under a second ahead of SRT Bird at the moment. You've got Smokey Devil there running in P3, 2.5 seconds off the lead at this point. You've got Diabetic Lamb still going in P4. Has got Mike looking to his outside here. He's cutting back to the outside. Is he going to then look to the inside, or is he going to try and hang it around the outside into turn 1? Diabetic Lamb is going to tuck back into that slipstream there on Mike Gaming, and Mike has got that done up into P4. Aussie Albie looking quite feisty in the background, has got 1 space all over the back of him, but it is all go here in the first 2 laps on racing speed, as Diabetic Lamb's now looking on the back of Mike. Mike's has maybe got a run here on Smokey. No, hasn't quite got it. Diabetic Lamb late on the brakes, looked to try and send one on Mike, couldn't do it there though. Backtrack side there, Rags is still leading ahead of SRT Bird by 0.2 of a second right now as they come down the back straight here for the 4th time in this race. It's such close racing between these guys right now though. Really is no compromise out there at this point, as you've got Mike there looking out around the outside of Smokey Devil. It goes a bit deep though, and Mike's going to have to really just hacksaw at the wheel to get it turned in. Smokey's still there, but Mike does get that done up into 3rd place, and that's another position gained here for Mike Gaming in this feature race. As we see Smokey Devil go very wide there, and he's down to 7th place there, so he's lost out to 1 space and Aussie now, and Diabetic Lamb's got ahead of Aussie Albie as well, although Diabetic Lamb thought he got ahead of 1 space, but he wasn't quite able to do it into the chicane. He's now looking back to the outside into the penultimate corner, but nothing doing there at the moment. Then Rag still leads by 0.2 of a second. SRT Bird, it's all over him coming down the start finish straight. Here they come. Now SRT Bird has got the run. He's got that slipstream as we're now heading down towards turn 1. Also in the background you've got 1 space just ahead of Diabetic Lamb, but not by very much at all. Diabetic Lamb's got that run once again coming in towards turn 1, but he's just a little bit too far back and gets there just slightly too late in that little battle. As SRT has got the lead because Rags has gone wide, and Rags might lose out to Mike Gaming here as well. Mike's looking around the outside of Rags but can't make anything happen there, but SRT capitalising on Rags' mistake there, is now Mike looking round Rags looking really crooked here as he's gone wide. He's gone really deep onto the grass there. 1 space moves up into 3rd place. Rags is now off for the podium, and he's got Diabetic Lamb all over the back of him here. So Rags is going backwards here on lap 5 of this race, and it's been a horrible few corners for him after quite a consistent start to this race. SRT Bird has now got an EDS 2-second gap here, but he's got Mike Gaming reeling him in, and Mike has been on an absolute charge at the start of this feature race. There's 1 space ahead of Rags, followed by Diabetic Lamb. You've got Smokey over there running in 6th place. A few seconds back to Richie running in 7th. There you've got Connor Boyle down there in 8th place at the moment ahead of Oakbar, followed by Aussie Albie, who has had a nightmare of a feature race so far, but he has pitted. In fact, no. He hasn't had a nightmare of a race. I do apologise, Ozzy Albi. Emma, sorry, also sorry if you're listening. No, Ozzy Albi isn't having that much of a nightmare. Actually, he is, as I said before, he's pitted, so he actually could be in quite a good position here. We'll have to keep an eye on him. It's a very long pit lane, so 40 seconds isn't actually a massive amount of time to be behind. But SRT currently with a second of a gap here over Mike Gaming. Got one space there in that final podium spot ahead of Diabetic Lamb, followed by Rags. You've got Smokey there ahead of Richie running in 7th place. Connor still going in P8. Ogbar there in 9th place. Not been the race for him at all as he's coming into the pits now at the end of lap 5. But SRT with just under a second of a gap here to Mike Gaming at the moment into turn 1 for the 6th time in this race. One space keeping tabs with him, but he's lost a little bit of time to the 2 leaders over the course of the last lap or so. As we got Pete in the comments saying late racing on a Friday night, I like it. Good luck everyone. Pete did actually used to race with us on a Friday night when we raced in the touring cars. We had the touring car championship on a Friday on Project Cars 2 about a year or so ago, it must have been now. And that was a good laugh, to be fair. I think Thursday night's probably the best night for touring cars. The GT5 night, definitely Friday's more suited, because I think the GT5's more of a Friday night kind of genre, I think. The touring cars, you have to be quite dialed in and focused to be able to drive them. These, you can kind of just relax a little bit more, albeit they're not easy to drive at all. But SRT and Mike, they're really close, as you can see here. Mike's now looking for any little chinks in the armour of SRT Bird. SRT has led the race since Rags made that little mistake at the beginning of lap 4. But now Mike is hunting him down as they're coming down towards the chicane. Here we go. Look at that closing speed. He's going to have to look to the outside because SRT is going to cover that inside line. As now Mike is going to say, well, if you're going to cover off the inside, I'm going to send it around the outside. And I'm going to do you just the same way. Mike gave it up into the lead here, into the penultimate corner. And that was absolutely beautifully done there. Can SRT come back at him? He might be able to get a better run coming out onto the start-finish straight. This is allowing one space right onto them as well. So one space will be right there if these two trip over each other. But SRT back into the slipstream here, coming down the start-finish straight once again. Well, is he going to be able to make a move here into turn 1? He's got that closing speed, but is he going to be able to send one? Or is Mike just going to have the legs here as we come up towards the braking zone now? I think Mike's going to have that one held onto, and he's maintaining P1 for the time being. SRT, one space still pretty close. Diabetic Lamb there running in 4th place ahead of Rags, followed by Smoky Devil. Richie is into the pits here at the end of lap 6, a third of the distance into this feature race, and he is now in to make his mandatory pit stop. But it's Mike still ahead of SRT in one space at the moment, and it is great racing from these boys in the early stages of this one. As we've got one space now looking to the inside of SRT. SRT leaves the door open, got a little bit of a poor run coming out of the S's. Here goes one space now. He's going to make that move up into P2. Does he go a bit deep? He does go slightly deeper than SRT, but he gets his stop quite nicely there, quite comfortably there into the corner, and it's P2 there for one space here in this one. Mike Gaming still leading the race by just under a second at the moment, but now he's got his championship rival really hunting him here in this one. But obviously neither of these two getting the win in the first race. Richie took the spoils in the first race. He's not going to be winning this one though. He's a long way behind, and he's had damage in this race so far, so Richie's not going to make it a double, and it's going to be normal service resumed, so to speak, unless SRT can spoil their party. Diabetic Lamb and Rags currently battling out over 4th and 5th places here as they're coming out of the final corner. You've got Smokey a couple of seconds behind them, running in P6. Connor still going in P7 at the moment, a little way behind. You got Ozzy Albi there in P8 ahead of Ogbar, who's pitted, but Ozzy Albi's pitted as well, and he's 42 seconds off of the lead. So I mean, it would take something pretty special for him to win this race, but he could definitely be in the fold. I reckon P4, P5 definitely going to be a possibility for Ozzy Albi here in this feature race. But Mike Gaming on one space, still 4 tenths separating the two leaders at this point, and you've got SRT just clinging to the back of it at the moment, holding on grimly, not really in a battle with them, but just keeping tabs. If they trip over each other, you know he'll be right there to capitalise. But still a long way to go here in this race, as Rags has got ahead of Diabetic Lamb, and Diabetic Lamb's off. He's gone wide, and he's lost out there to Smokey as well. So Diabetic Lamb there has had a bit of a moment, and unfortunately for him, he's dropped down to P6. Just a little mistake there was all that was required, and yep, that's now Rags and Smokey up in position each. Back to the leaders, Mike, one space, and SRT still going at it here for P1, 2 and 3. As we're on lap 8 of the race, about to go on to lap 9, so we're nearly half distance here in this feature race, and these top 3 still yet to pit. In fact, all of the top 7 still yet to pit, and the 8th, 9th and 10th, obviously Ozzy, Ogbar and Richie have now all been in to make their pit stop over the course of this race so far. But Mike, 1 space, and SRT currently just over a second separating these three at this point as they're about to come around the last corner to complete lap 8. So Mike's still holding on to this lead. 1 space is now having a look to the inside, just feigning to the inside, trying to distract him a little bit. I don't think Mike's going to be taking too much bait on that one. He's not too concerned. I wonder if 1 space had a slowdown, because he seemed to just drop a lot off the back of Mike coming down the start finish. It's also brought SRT Bird onto the back of him, so it looks like to me like 1 space did have a slowdown there. But nonetheless, Mike's still leading ahead of 1 space with SRT there running in P3 at the moment. Rag's still P4, has got about a second back to Smokey, so these two look like they're reasonably close out at this point. Diabetic Lamb still going in P6, he's a long way behind those two though. He's got Connor a couple of seconds behind him in 7th place. You've got Ozzy Albi, highest runner of the pit stop pack so far in P8. Ogbar still going in 9th place. Richie is only about a second or two behind Ogbar at this point, so this could be a battle we're seeing developing pretty soon. And the battle at the front still looking more or less the same at this point with Mike, 1 space, and SRT. Over the line they come, just to complete the halfway point in this race. Oh, Mike very deep there coming through turn 2. That will just be showing 1 space where he can potentially be looking to try and make a move. He'll be scouting out where Mike's weak points are at this stage. Maybe it's going to be a case of one of these guys just pulling the plug on coming into the pits and just going for it, going for that undercut. You'd think they'd probably try and do the opposite from each other. So one would do one thing, the other would do something else, just to try and get some clean air, get a few laps in some clean air. That could make all the difference here in this race. So just to remind you all, Ozzy Albi, Ogbar and Richie have all been into the pits. I have a feeling we're going to see a few pit stops this time around though. As Mike is now coming through the final few corners of this lap that he's on at this moment in time. So, leader's coming around once again, and as Mike coming in, I think he might have been. Yeah, Mike is now in. So Mike coming in at the end of lap 10, 8 laps to go. 1 space is now going to try and get that overcut if he can. And SRT now within a second and a half of 1 space at this point. Does Rags come in? No, Rags is staying out. What about Smokey? Does Smokey come in? No, Smokey stays out. Connor looks like he's got Diabetic Lamb right. He's jumping. Oh, Connor goes deep. To me, it didn't look like contact. Or maybe there was contact actually, because Diabetic Lamb is waiting for him. And Connor's saying, no, go on, off you go, son. So maybe nothing doing. Connor's coming in, I think. Or is he? Yes, he is. Connor's coming in. So Mike and Connor coming in on this lap. And obviously Ozzy, Richie and Ogbar have all been in already in this race. But it's 1 space from SRT at the moment. A second and a half currently separating those two. For those of you joining us, maybe wondering why Ryan Ruby isn't alongside me tonight, unfortunately he couldn't make it. He's had to just take a little bit of a break from the commentary box, which I completely understand, because I know it gets absolutely exhausting from time to time. So I completely respect and understand that he just needs a little bit of a break from all of it. 1 space still leading ahead of SRT. Connor is just coming across the start finish line now, past the bricks. Has he already stopped in his box though? That's the question. I think he has, yeah. So he's just got to drive to the end of the pits and he will be Gucci. But Mike's on the back of Diabetic Lamb as these two battling out of 5th and 6th. Obviously, with Mike's having pitted, Diabetic Lamb still yet to pit. Mike trying to get the cut back here on Diabetic Lamb. Swooping around the outside, and Mike is going to get that done now. Is he? No, he's not. Diabetic Lamb getting the position back, and Mike there having a bit of a moment. That will be massive solace or consolation, or even a confidence boost to One Space, who could be in with a clear net lead of this race. SRT Bird has also come in on the same lap as One Space. Have these guys stopped in their box already, or are they still yet to stop in their box? Nonetheless, Smokey's going to come round to inherit P2 for now. So they have already stopped in their box. They're just trundling to the end of the pit lane now. Where is Mike? Mike is coming out of the final corner. One Space and SRT are only just coming to the line now. So despite Mike having a little bit of a moment there, he's not far off of them at all. One Space is now off of the limit. SRT, they're just coming off of the limiter at this moment. So they are ahead of Mike. But Mike was definitely lost quite a bit of time with that moment that he had as he was trying to get past Diabetic Lamb. So Aussie Albie up into P6 now then. Still a few pit stops to go. Rags and One Space has still got to come in. So Aussie Albie could be on for a P4 in this race potentially if he plays his cards right. One Space though is your net race leader by 2 seconds ahead of SRT, and Mike Gaming 4 seconds off of the race lead at this point. The net race lead I should say, because 3rd, 4th and 5th are a net 1, 2 and 3 in this race, with 1 and 2 Rags and Smokey still yet to come in and make their mandatory pit stop at some point. They've got to do it over the next 6 laps. When they're going to make it though, it is up to them entirely. Jumping on board with Mike there as he's still on the back of SRT. Rags is into the pits at the end of lap 12. So race leader is in. Does Smokey come in? No, Smokey's staying out for the time being. Right, your net race leader, One Space there, is now only 4 seconds behind Smokey, so could get ahead of him before Smokey's even done his pit stop. SRT has got Mike absolutely all over the back of him here, coming down the start finish straight. Mike Gaming in the slipstream here. He's going to get that closing speed. He's going to have a look as he to the inside. SRT just closes the door. Great defensive driving there from SRT. Textbook defense. Here goes Mike Gaming now. He says, if you're going to cover off the inside, I'm going to send one round the outside. Is he going to get the inside for turn 2? I think he is. Mike Gaming just squeezes through. And Mike Gaming does it again. The second time in this race, he's pulled off that move. It's a lovely manoeuvre. Times his braking to absolute perfection. Goes a little bit deep into turn 1, but just uses that slight runoff on the left-hand side as you're going through turn 1 into turn 2, gets it turned in absolutely beautifully, and Mike up into 3rd place. And I've got to say, Mike's overtaking through that part of the track in this race has been absolutely sublime. He is now 3.5 seconds off of his championship rival One Space, who is in 2nd place in this race, but obviously in a net lead at the moment, with Smokey still yet to come in and make his pit stop. But the question is, when does Smokey come in and do that over this next 5 laps? He's got to do it at some point. But I suppose it's really up to him when he does it. As long as he does it before his race is run, I suppose it's all fair and all good. SRT still sticking to the back of Mike. Mike hasn't been able to pull away from him too much. Mike is just trying to eat that gap out, but SRT is keeping himself in the game. Ruggs is still in the back of Richie at the moment. I think it's 2 batted out over 6th and 7th. That'll be a net P4 and 5, I think. No, net P5 and 6. Rags has really lost out in the pit stops. I don't know what's happened to him, but he has lost quite a lot of time here in this race. Got 10 of you currently watching. Guys, smash the like button if you can. Pete Bibbs there says, I had to delete PC2 to get GT7. Not sure it was a good idea, Andy. You know what, mate? I honestly would recommend getting PC2 back. GT7, it looks like a great game, you know, for a casual gamer, for a casual car fanatic, but if you're into your racing and realism and taking it seriously, then it does not look like a game that I would be interested in. I haven't even purchased it, if I'm perfectly honest. I was set to do some comms on the game for a league, for another league, and then it turned out that you have to do a 2-hour initiation to be able to even play the game, and I thought, you know what, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not sitting there for 2 hours to mess about and then just so I can do a commentary. Like, nah, you know what, nah. So yeah, that kind of went on the back burner a bit. But mate, I would recommend getting PC2 back. As you can see, still alive and well, still kicking. You know, obviously 5 years old this year, unbelievable, I know. But Project Cars 2 next month will turn 5 years old. Where is the time gone? Honestly, I got the game in early 2018. I got Project Cars 2. Played Project Cars 1 before that. I was actually quite late to the party on Project Cars 2. Probably got it about 6 months after it came out. I was still playing Project Cars 1 up until beginning of 2018, and then Project Cars 2, started playing GT3s around Monza over and over again and just never looked back. But one space here, looking down the inside on Smokey. He's going to make that move here into the chicane. So that is job done there for one space up into P1. Peter there says he agrees. He's stopped playing GT7 as we see Smokey into the pits at the end of that 15. So finally making his mandatory pit stop at long last. One space still going there in P1. Has got Mike there running just under 2 seconds behind him right now in second place. SRT Bird still going there in that final podium spot. As Smokey stops in his box. Aussie Albie is just coming round the final corner at the moment though. He's a long way behind at this stage. Richard there still going in P6. Has got Rags a couple of seconds behind him in there in 7th place. You've got Bob running P8 followed by Diabetic Lamb. Connor Boylan there still going in P10. Oh god. Absolutely gutted. Sorry guys. The action's actually pretty good, but I am really tired. It's one of them things, it's like, although I'm enjoying watching, I'm so tired. I've probably slept about, I'm going to go for a realistic estimate here. Over the last week, I've probably slept about maybe 30 hours. An average of 4 hours sleep a night. I managed a full 8 hours sleep a couple of nights, and then the rest of them have just been about 3 hours, maybe. So the days when I'm working, where I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning, I've been sleeping maybe 3 hours a night. And then there was 1 or 2 nights where I wasn't working and I managed to get 8 hours sleep, maybe 9. But on the nights when I'm not working, I just do not sleep. And I tell you what, it's probably causing me long-term damage, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But it is what it is, you know. I can sleep when I am dead. Who knows when that will be? Could be soon, could be in a very long time. Indeed, but one space currently still out in front. It's got on a half a second of a gap here to Mike Gaming as they're coming down towards turn 1. Once again, Peter says I did 1 season on PC1. Yeah, mate. I didn't actually do league racing on Project Cars 1. I played it casually. I wasn't really much of a serious sim racer up until about mid 2019. I set up a PlayStation community called Rubbings Racing, which kind of got pulled from under my feet actually, but basically mid 2019 got into commentating and streaming, and that was really where sim racing took over my life, and a few other unsavory activities kind of took a backseat, and then subsequently a complete and utter washout role in my life. So yeah, basically sim racing from about 2019 onwards, sort of probably about 3 years ago, about September 3 years ago, probably was where I think my focus sort of shifted really, and it kind of became more or less my life outside of work. But right now we got Mike looking to the outside, and this is the battle for the lead here between the two championship contenders. Mike Gaming is really turning up the cooker here on one space. But one space has led the race for the last few laps, but Mike has been chipping away quite a lot actually. He's been making massive gains. He was 1.2 seconds quicker on the previous lap. We're about to start the final lap of the race here, and these two are going to go at it hammer and tongs here for one final lap of Indy road course. Here we go. Mike Gaming in the slipstream, 0.2 of a second separating them, coming down towards turn one. Here we go, as now Mike Gaming pulls out of the slipstream and looks to the outside. One space has got that inside line covered. Mike is going to try and send it around the outside late on the base once again. Can Mike do it again? What he's done so many times over the course of this race. One space trying to keep it there, but Mike has got the lead done. Great stuff there from Mike Gaming. That's the third time in this race he's done that exact move, and he's pulled it off to absolute perfection there. One space could do nothing about it, but can one space come back at Mike coming out of the S's down to the back straight? Here we come. Mike Gaming looks like he's wrestled this win off of one space on this final lap, but one space is going to throw the kitchen sink at him surely in the final part of this race. Half a lap left to go in this one. SRT in the background is flashing his lights there as he's just got past one of the back markers. That would appear to be Connor just behind him, but Mike Gaming in one space, 0.3 of a second apart. Can one space even throw a late rally here on Mike and manage to get back ahead of him here as they're now coming through into the final sector of the lap? I think Mike has just done enough, although he did get a poor run out of that corner coming out onto the oval. That might give one space to run. It could give him a chance to maybe send one coming into the chicane, as one space is now feigning a move to the inside. Mike's got it covered, but can he get a run here coming into the penultimate corner? Here we go. He's going to look to try and send one. Mike once again turns it. No, one space has got to absolutely lunge down the inside, and he manages to make the move, and Mike has been pushed off the track. One space is going to come around the final corner. Mike Gaming might not be happy with that. We might not have heard the end of this one, but one space is going to take the win on the track, and he gives it back. I thought he might have to there. One space gives the position back to Mike Gaming, and Mike Gaming takes a well-deserved win there. Great sportsmanship from one space, acknowledging there that he had taken that position a little bit with foul play. SRT taking the final podium spot there in third place. A good showing there from him. Aussie Albie is going to come round. It's going to be best of the rest here for him as he is coming up towards the line now. And yes, solid result there from him. Pete Bibb there saying, "You do a great job, mate." Cheers, mate. I appreciate that. Thank you. Always nice to see kind words in the comment section from the drivers who raced in our community. There's Aussie Albie P4. Richie takes P5 in the end, not the race that he had in the first race. I think that we can all universally agree that this one did not go as well as the first one, but P5 nonetheless, not too bad for him. Rags takes a 6th place here in the end, ahead of Ogbar in 7th place. Smokey finishes this one in P8. Diabetic Lamb is just coming up towards the chicane now, so it's going to be a P9 here for Diabetic Lamb. But he's not really had the final few laps that I'm sure he would have ideally been wanting there. But regardless, he comes out of the last corner and is going to take a 9th place finish here in this race. And that is all she wrote then, ladies and gentlemen. So your race winner for the second race of the evening, Mike Gaming, making up for his collision with Rags in the first race where he dropped down to P3. So he gains points on one space here in the second race, but they cancel each other out, I think, over the course of tonight. And the situation should, I think, be the same in the championship as it was coming into this one. So I think they would have just literally just done the exact same number of points over the course of tonight. So Mike Gaming will still have a 7-point lead in the championship, obviously barring fastest laps. Mike took the fastest lap actually, so he might have extended his gap, who knows. But that is that then, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, for tonight here at Indy Road Course for the GT5. Make sure you join us on Sunday night. We'll be back for the GT3 Sprint Championship on ACC. We will be at Monza for that one, so that's going to be an exciting one. Clio Cup back on Project Cars 2 on Monday night, 8:30 p.m. BST, that's UK time, and we will be at Red Bull Ring National for that one. So check that out next Monday. Also Wednesday night, we'll be back for the GT3 Endurance League on the PS4. That will be at Imola. Following on from Imola on Wednesday, we'll be at the touring cars on Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. from Silverstone International. And then on Friday, we'll be back here for the GT5s. Next round for the Ginetta Cup will be actually at Sonoma National. So that's your week lined up here at Motive. Do smash the like button, guys, if you did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel, and if you're joining us for the first time, go to www.motiveracing.com. We'll see you guys soon. We'll hopefully catch you on Sunday. If not, we'll hopefully see you on Monday for the next Project Cars 2 Championship in the Clio Cup. But thanks everybody once again. We'll see you all later. Good night.